Welcome on in, everyone, to another episode of Let's Talk Utes. Today, we're going to be recapping Utah's tough loss to Texas Tech. First off, I think that Texas Tech team is amazing. What do you think, Landon?
Yeah, I think that Texas Tech team is super good. Like, genuinely, though. First off, respect to Texas Tech. That is a super good football team. I thought Utah would be able to maybe win this or play it a bit tighter than they ended up being able to play, but I credit a lot of that to Texas Tech, and I truly think Texas Tech came ready to play.
Oh, totally agree. I mean, it was a really tight game until about 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. 13-10 Texas Tech, 8 minutes, 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And then after that, I mean, Will Hammond, backup, comes in to replace Morton. Utah just had no answers for him. I mean, his throws were on the money. His running threat was a dimension I don't feel like Utah was ready for, after prepping for Morton a bit. And honestly, the offense really got unlocked for them once Hammond came in.
Yeah, let me read some interesting stuff. Credit to the Reddit user, the fake Bill Pierce, on this. He compiled kind of Utah's first possessions. First half possessions went 3 plays punt, 6 plays turnover on downs, 6 plays fumble, 5 plays fumble, 3 plays punt, 9 plays punt, 3 plays interception, 9 plays field goal. So that's not very good offense. Utah was not really able to move the ball consistently, and I don't think it was due to any one certain player on Utah's offense, just like, oh, that guy's garbage. Like, Dampier definitely did not have his best day. But, could the receivers get open? It's hard to tell sometimes with the angles they give you, especially when you're watching on TV. You can't really see what's happening downfield a lot of the time. And I think crediting those turnovers to Tech's defense, like those 2 forced fumbles, those were incredible plays. Like, I'm not sure that's even an offensive error. Like, of course, there's stuff you want to do to protect the ball from that, maybe get 2 hands on it. But, like, genuinely, wow. Those were awesome plays by Texas Tech's defense. And then touching a little more on that, Texas Tech's D-line was as advertised. I think they only ended the game with maybe 1 or 2 sacks near the end, but they consistently were winning the line of scrimmage in the run game, which is something that I knew this offensive line, they're better in pass protection, and I feel like they always have been, especially last year. They never were like an elite run push offensive line. And so I was hoping maybe that had changed this year. It was like Wayshawn Parker was kind of the only youth that was able to run it semi-effectively.
But then he fumbled, and then Witt just totally, doghoused him.
Yeah, that for sure was a mistake. But seriously, Texas Tech, their D-line is legit. They're for real. And one thing I was sleeping on, that was one of the better linebacker performances I've ever seen from a team. Texas Tech's 2 linebackers, Rodriguez and Rogers, they played so well. That was one of the best games I've ever seen from 2 linebackers. Like, that was
they totally dominated.
Genuinely so impressive. I do think the weakness of their team potentially are their corners and safeties, but Utah just didn't have the personnel or the ability to really exploit that. There was the one deep Jackson Benny pass completion, but it was called back anyways. And then there was also the one busted coverage with Tobias Merriweather, potentially might have been able to get something. But once again, weird timing on the route. Dampier wasn't able to hit on that.
Yeah, that's something that I called out in the preview show as well. And that's why I ultimately picked Tech to win in the preview show, is because I said, the things we're good at, they're also good at. And so we're probably not going to be as effective as we typically are at those base things. And the things that they're weak at, well, I wouldn't say weak because I think their secondary is still good. But the things that, potentially are more exploitable are the things that we don't do very well. And I think we saw that where, like, there were guys open downfield, but like Dampier is either too short to see over the line or just like missed them. And, Benny one called back, obviously hit one there. And then, like you mentioned, the Merriweather one as well, that he just totally, messed up the throw. It's just, I mean, Utah has to find a way to be able to exploit people in the passing attack and take advantage of, those missed things. Because honestly, like, Utah was right in this game. I mean, 13-10 with 8 minutes left and having a TD called back and, wide open shot missed. Like, the score ends 34-10, credit to Tech, you play the full game. And so, like, there's no excuse for Utah. Like, they lost 34-10. But, like, you had your chances. I think the score is a little misleading with how close it was. Going back to the kind of turnovers that you said, I've seen a lot of discussion about these turnovers that I don't necessarily agree with. A lot of people are saying, oh, turnovers were really a big problem with our offense. I honestly don't agree. Like, I don't think those turnovers really led to anything for Texas Tech. Like, as far as turnovers go, those were not impactful turnovers, in my opinion. Like, those were not things that swung the game. Those were not things that really got the offense off track. Like, I think that's overblown. And like, if we really did just like turtle up and like not risk it anymore after that, I think that was a huge mistake.
Yeah, exactly. Because when you think about it, it's not like Texas Tech scored all of these points off like pick sixes or fumble returns like the 10-yard line. Typically, actually, after Utah would turn the ball over, they would actually get a turnover right back from Tech, and it would just be a stalemate.
Exactly.
Like the turnovers were pretty much a stalemate in this game, in my opinion. Like Jackson Benning with that pick in the end zone was outrageous. And then that tipped interception right after Utah turned the football over. Like Utah did not kill themselves with turnovers, but back to the fourth quarter thing. Obviously, the fourth quarter is part of the game. It counts. So you can't just be like, oh, they scored in the fourth. It doesn't matter. It matters. Like, come on.
It does.
It's part of the game. But they did put up 250 of their 484 yards for the whole game in the fourth quarter. And it does make you think if the offense had been able to perform at all in that second half and sustain drives, it does feel like the defense potentially wouldn't have been as tired, wouldn't have let those points slip. And then, once it got to like 7-8 minutes left is when Tech really started scoring. I think that was the point when the defense was like, okay, we can't score. We're not scoring twice more this game to win. Like, it's over.
Yeah, it does. There is some part of me that wonders, Utah in the past was like, oh, great culture, family on three, like team oriented. It does feel like that has degraded quite a bit over the last few years due to, NIL and the portal, and maybe people don't really have like loyalty to Utah. Like, like not to say specifically this player's a problem, but like Tobias Merriweather has been there for 3 months at Utah. Does he care that much about, really the culture at Utah? Like, I'm not so convinced. It doesn't feel like the team has the same fight in them that they did before. Like, it kind of just seems like they're just going to go through the motions once it gets hard.
Yeah, I think there's aspects of that, but I truly think it just comes down to the players and the talent you've got on the field. I think Tech they had the more talented team. They had the better football team. Like, I do think there's scenarios where Utah could have won that game, but I do think Tech wins that game most of the time. They just looked like a better team out there on the field. But going into Texas Tech's offense against Utah's defense for a bit, I was actually pretty impressed with Utah's defense. I did not think the score ended 34-10, of course, but they gave Utah a chance to win this game. Like, they did an unbelievable job. The first drive, unfortunate, this game wasn't decided by one play, but having that like 3rd and 26 back on Tech's own like 15-yard line, may have been a bit of a pick play. Refs missed it, block in the back. Refs might have missed that, but the game wasn't decided by that one play. But outside of that, until the fourth quarter, they were unbelievably good. Like, the defense gave Utah a chance. But so looking at the stats here, Behren Morton was held to 12 of 19, 142 yards, 2 interceptions. 75 of those yards came on one pass. 29.6 QBR for Behren Morton. But after the injury, this shocked me when I looked at it because I knew Will Hammond had played well. 13 of 16, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, 96.3 QBR. 61 yards rushing as well, 7.6 average with 8 carries, 96.3 QBR. He dominated.
Well, Utah, honestly, outside of that one play, had completely shut down Morton in the Texas Tech offense. Like, they were struggling to get anything. It was actually funny. Utah's offense was struggling so bad, but when Hammond came in, Utah had more first downs than Texas Tech. Despite not having scored a touchdown and only having 3 points, they had more first downs. That's actually wild. It really was just that one play that got Tech the touchdown. And then outside of that, Utah completely smothered Morton and that offense. And honestly, like, if I was Utah, I don't think Utah will be in the Big 12 title game. I don't think that's the ceiling of this team. But if they did play Tech again in the Big 12 title game, I mean, I would be praying that it was Morton in the pocket. I think Hammond is way more dynamic than Morton.
I mean, it seemed like Hammond was kind of just better at everything, did it not?
Yeah.
Like, he was an unbelievable passer,
accurate, he's a better
unbelievable runner,
bigger guy.
Like, it's hard to deny. Like, Texas Tech fans, I wouldn't be looking in the transfer portal this offseason for a QB. Now that Morton's going to be leaving, you have a freshman right here. This guy's the truth. Like, I genuinely think is this the best freshman QB performance ever at Rice-Eccles?
It has to be.
I
But
think
like
it is.
I I knew he was legit when they had that 1 second and 10. He threw that ball, literally hit Virgil in the hands on that fade route, literally right in the hands, and Virgil dropped it.
Perfect.
3rd and 10. They go back to the exact same play. He throws another dime right in the hands and he catches it this time. I think it was a different receiver though. But it was just insane. Like he threw
Yeah.
the exact same perfect ball twice in a row. And I was like, okay, this guy is dealing. Like this guy is legit.
Yeah, completely agreed. Well, I don't have too much more on the game, truthfully. Hard fought game. Respect to Texas Tech. That team is extremely good. I'm honestly really glad that someone in the Big 12 is kind of rising up, could potentially turn into that national championship contender if they continue to, invest in the right way, build the right way. So honestly, great game. Texas Tech, respect.
I like the feel of that team too. Like I think that they have some like, some like swag about them, some like aura about them. I think that they're built the right way. One more thing about Utah. Offensively, obviously this was a terrible performance. It feels to me we're like way too invested in like the gimmick stuff. Where like we're not using players in like traditional roles, if that makes sense. Like we're like trying to like get all these like offensive weapons per se, like in the game involved. And it's just like, oh, like get the ball to him, get the ball to him. But it's like we're neglecting like the actual people who play wide receiver, the actual people who play running back. Like Wayshawn Parker with 6 touches, that is not enough, dude.
That's
Wayshawn Parker is
terrible.
by far the best running back. Like I'm ready to say that. Dakari Rogers he's just okay. Like he's average. Like I don't even think he's above average. Like he missed a lot of holes today.
Yeah, it does seem like Whittingham, he says that the offensive coordinator has full control of the offense, but he for sure has a thing where like if you turn the ball over, you're not playing. Like Nate Johnson, fumble at Wyoming, like I don't know. I think it would have been nice to try someone with some elite speed. The offense was not working.
Yeah. I mean, especially when you got guys, that are just getting totally swallowed up at the line of scrimmage, like Ryan Davis or Smith Snowden. Like get someone way faster than those guys to
Yeah.
run. I think it's time to end the Smith Snowden stuff. He's just not that good on offense. Like he's not averaging that many yards per touch. Like I think it'd just be honestly more effective to just hand the ball off to Wayshawn.
Yeah.